This is my paper bag book. It is a book made out of paper bags. Because it's made out of paper bags, the pages have pockets to hide goodies, and they have flippity flops. I've made several of these. This is the original one. I turned it into a paper bag by adding handles from a Trader Joe's paper bag, and I decorated it with Trader Joe's paper. I made another one that is hardbound that I made with garbage from my recycle bin. And there's one thing I've been really wanting to do ever since I made these, and I finally can. I'm gonna make a huge one. Hi. I made the original paper bag book out of Trader Joe's bags. I don't actually shop there enough to have gotten enough of these to do this project, but my friend texted me and she's been saving all of her Trader Joe's bags for me. Thank you, Janice. You've all been asking me for a tutorial, and why not teach you guys how to do it with these giant ones? The method is exactly the same if you're using standard size school lunch bags, but we're just gonna do it huge. So the first thing that we're gonna do is remove all the handles, because I think I don't necessarily need them. I'll leave the handles on a couple just in case. So I'm gonna do that real quick. You do not need to watch me do it. There's one thing that we wanna do before we fold all of our bags in half, and that is we're gonna seal up these flippity flappy things, because if we leave them open, it gets turning the pages in the book a little weird. So we're just going to smear some glue, glue it, flip it over to the other side, open this up, smear some glue, and there it is. We're gonna do that on every single bag so that it's like a solid page. The next thing we're gonna do is fold all of these in half. If you fold it in half with the bottom facing up, then you will get a flap. If you have the bottom facing down, then you will get clean, flat pages. I like to mix it up and do a little bit of both. Now I want to get really good folds on this, but I'm just going to grab this marker and make a really nice, clean fold. So this one I folded with the flap facing up, and this will be a flap page. Let me show you what it looks like to make one the other way. So this is the flap. I'm going to face it down so this flat side is facing up. And I'm also going to just fold that in half like that. And I'm going to use the bone tool marker to get a really nice, strong, clean fold. So this one, when it opens, will just be flat pages. This one, when it opens, will have a flap. I just like to mix it up so it's kind of random, because it's fun for me. I like things that are kind of random. You do not need to watch me fold all of these, so I'm just gonna fold them all. Ready, go. All of my bags are now folded in half, and it's time for glue. I'm not sure if this little bottle is gonna cut it. And that's why I went to the store and bought this. I've been going through a lot of glue, and I've been buying so many of these, and it's not necessary and probably wasteful. So I think I'm set for a while. I don't see this being very easy to refill, but my kids are in elementary school and they did something in their class that I love, and that's what I'm gonna do. Tupperware, glue, now I have this big tub of glue, sponge, goes right in there on top. You can store this for later. This is what they've done in my kids' class. Everyone just gets a little sponge thing. And it might be a hot mess, it might be amazing. We're about to find out. Now we have all of the sides glued and all of the bags folded in half. Now we get to assemble our book. This is so easy and fun. And the main thing you need to remember is that all of your folded sides need to face the same direction, because otherwise you're going to get an accordion book that opens all kinds of ways. I'm going to put all my folds to the right. All of my folds are facing the same direction so that my book will open one direction. Now I get to start gluing. This also gives me an idea of how thick my book is going to be. If I wanted to make it huge, I could fold more pages. If I wanted to make it smaller, I could do less pages. But when you stack it up like this, that's a good idea of how thick your book is going to be. Now we get to start gluing. I'm going to use my sponge and just smear glue across the whole page, and I'm going to get it all the way to the edges. Our next page. Now I'm going to line up the spine edges. I don't care so much if the open pages are exactly matched. I care the most that the spine sides, the folded sides, are aligned. That's more important than the edges of the papers being aligned. So there they are. I've lined them up. Press, press, press. And the nice thing about the school glue is that, I mean, it's just school glue. So if you accidentally get something tacked in the wrong place, you can just pull it and it'll come off. Okay, spine edge, side, spine side. Line them up. From here, you can tap it on the table if you want to get those, make sure you get those aligned as best they can. Time for the next one. This is the main part of putting the book together. There's no sewing, no binding with needles and thread. Just lining up those folds and gluing all those pages literally together. So my book is already coming together. I could stop here if I just wanted it to be small, but I'm gonna make it a chunk. My bags are glued together. I have this great big chunk of a book. I get to decide now if I wanna make it bigger or if I'm happy with it. I feel like I wanna make it bigger. Do we need to make it bigger? I think we need to make it bigger. Let's do it. Okay, it's bigger. We're gonna bind it with just paper, and let me tell you why. Let's talk about binding. So this paper bag book is just bound with another piece of paper from a Trader Joe's bag. And when you open it, the spine just bends, right? Like it's like a broken spine. You can open it all the way. The hardbound, I glued the pages to the hard spine, and it could only open like this far. So I had to break it. All the pages arc up like that so that they can lay flat. So that was a little bit trickier. That's why when you look at like a hardbound book, there's a cloth inside that connects all the pages. It's so that you can open it without having to break the spine. So we are just going to bind ours with paper so that it'll open all the way like this. For example, there it is. Now, the reason we are binding it is because of these pages that have the flippy flap, they're gonna be all wonky. So you have to connect them all. You could go in and glue them, I suppose. In retrospect, you absolutely want to glue those flippy flaps. The nice thing about using the same material, the same bag that you made your pages with, is that they are the exact width. So here's my book, exact width for the bag. I just cut open this bag on the sides. I think I should be able to wrap the whole book if I just cut these open. And I don't need to do it nice because I'm going to cut it off eventually. So now our bag is open, and I'm going to just cut out these sides. In theory, we should be able to set this in here. If I made it a little bit fatter, it would fit perfect. Man, if I added that many more bags, it would fit perfectly. And then it can just be a whole bag. Okay, I was gonna make it fatter, but I've already made it fat enough. I can chill. I can be chill. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're going to smother this in glue. And I'm gonna use the bottom as the center. We're gonna cover it. Probably going to that middle fold is good because that's where I folded all the bags. Now I need to make sure that I have my pages opening the right direction. And I'm just going to set them in here, and then I'm gonna lift this side. Then I'm going to lift this side. I'm gonna pinch along here just to help it fold. We got glue on both sides. I did not compress these at all, so it can move freely. Doesn't need to be perfect. I'm gonna weight them down like this and just let them dry for a little while. This should be dry. Yep, I like it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to cut this excess off. We don't need this. And we don't need it to be perfect either. We have this. Now we need to add our handles. It's a chunk. We have our big book, and the thing that makes this book so fun is that it has handles so you can carry it. I'm wondering if just gluing these on is not going to be strong enough because this is pretty heavy, but I decided not to overthink it, and I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to align it, and I like putting mine on the inside. Two side. Now you can put this between the cover and the page, but I didn't think that far ahead. Oh, you know what? Do the same thing on the other side. See? That is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Awesome. Alrighty, now I will let these handles dry. I am running into the issue of those big flaps on the inside opening up, and I don't love that. So I should have glued them to start. I'm just gonna cram some glue in there. Just gonna squeeze some glue. We're getting our paper bag book done, friends. So I can let this sit, and all those pages that I just tacked together can rest. And also I'll weight this down as the handles continue to dry. So here, my friends, is our super massive paper bag book. It's a tome. I can decorate the cover and make it nicer if I want. I could even add a hardcover if I wanted to. But for now, this is just loosely bound, protected. I added our handles. I will untack those once they're dry. There it is. It's a ginormous paper bag book, and it has these pockets where you can store things, and it has hidden flaps that you can decorate. You can make pop-ups. You can flatten them this way if you want. It gives you a little bit of extra room on the page. It makes really fun collages, etc. Here it is, my friends, the massive paper bag book tome, and I'm excited to play with this.